So guys, this is my first full day in Cairo. So still feeling a bit tired from the journey, even though it was like an 8-hour flight overnight. But I feel like I did drift off a bit on the plane. So, but yeah, I'm still feeling a bit like so anyway, but yeah, check out the view out the window that I'm about to show you. And I've just been kind of doing a few warm-up sketches, sitting here, drinking some nice tea, and yeah. So I have this nice little balcony in my room, and I've got this pretty cool view here. So, which I started drawing last night in my Anamila toned sketchbook. I was so tired though, so I want to try and keep going today. I've got this nice kind of railing thing going on, which is pretty cool. And then yeah, I just need to finish off these doors and stuff. Just put a bit more detail, and I think I'm not going to paint the full thing. I'm just going to add a touch of colour. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm going to do it off camera just because I don't really have the way set up right now to film. I don't know if you can see the sketch and the scene at the same time, but yeah, I will show you guys the results in a bit. So this is the finished sketch. I was quite happy with how this came out actually. So this was my view from my room in the hostel. It was a bit of an experiment. I had an idea in my head of how I wanted it to look, and it kind of came out that way. So yeah, that was sketch number 1 from Cairo. And then yeah, I've visited the Citadel area of Cairo, and we've got this amazing view just across the city. Just kind of blown away by this. It's just so beautiful to see it from this vantage point, you know, this super old city. And then the crowning jewel of the Citadel area is Muhammad Ali Mosque. So I'm just sat in front of the very famous Muhammad Ali Mosque, and just trying to do a bit of a pencil sketch here. Just trying to warm up really. Probably shouldn't warm up with this kind of subject matter, but at least it's nice and quiet here. There's an amazing view over Cairo. It's pretty cool. It's nice and chilled. Nice and away from the hustle and bustle of downtown Cairo. So I'm going to continue drawing this, and I'm just trying to be pretty loose, and then we'll see what happens later. So I'm still sat here and I just thought I'd show you guys how I'm getting on. I can't film the actual process of me sketching right here, but this is my pencil sketch so far. And then I went ahead and just drew some ink lines over the top. I decided not to paint this one. I thought I would just keep it simple, and as you can see, I sort of, you know, just did like the left kind of half of the building. Again, it was a bit of a warm-up really, but I kind of like how it came out. And then I just really wanted to show you guys the inside of this mosque, because it just had some cool lighting and the ceilings were just super interesting. So I just wanted to give you guys a sneak peek inside really. So this was the final sketch of Muhammad Ali Mosque, and you'll notice that I decided to add a few white accents just to the roof areas and around some of the window frames, just to give it a bit of interest. Yeah, not a bad little sketch. That was fine, just to record my memory of being there. In the Citadel area there's also this mosque as well. There's quite a few different buildings. but this green dome on the top here kind of caught my eye, and I was quite keen to sketch this one. Also this red strip along the ground, and the kind of pyramid shaped bits on top of the wall there. I thought it'd make a cool sketch, so I went for a bit more of a painted effect in this one, but kept it kind of still a bit loose. And yeah, I really liked the look of the red carpet rolled out in front of me there, so just kept it quite simple and quite graphic. And after that, I took a cab from the Citadel area, just sort of a bit further down the road, and went to visit AL-NASSER Park, which is just a gorgeous, gorgeous park in Cairo, and you can actually overlook the city once more from a different vantage point. It's just really peaceful and really lush, and it was just a nice place just to chill. I didn't actually do any sketching here. I was just sort of missioning about, having a walk. Yeah, I just felt like a bit of a rest here, but I really wanted to show it to you guys just so you could see like a different side to the hustle and bustle. And another day I had to do the visit to the Egyptian Museum. It took me a long time to get across the road to get to the museum, but anyone who's been to Cairo will probably understand what I mean there if you've walked to the museum rather than got a bus or anything, a tour bus, or yeah, a bit tricky. The Egyptian Museum was cool. It's a bit slapdash. Everything's sort of just all over the place, and there's not really much signage to tell you what you're looking at, but the stuff that's in it is pretty cool. The day after I visited, the government, the Egyptians, were moving the royal mummies from this museum to another museum, and there was a big royal parade, and it was just amazing. I couldn't actually get to see it in person. I tried my hardest, but they weren't letting anyone near the museum, but you can watch it on YouTube. It's really worth looking up the royal parade in Egypt, where they moved the mummies from this museum to the new museum, and they put on quite an event for their royalty of old. So these were the sketches I did in and around the museum. Just some statue heads there. And then this one was the outside of the museum. I realised I didn't get any footage of the outside of the museum, so sorry about that, but I was really happy with how this one turned out, actually. I wasn't liking it right up until I put some car shadows on the front of the building, and then it really just started to take shape. And I was using John Harrison's technique of using bolder outlines to bring some elements of my sketch a bit further forward. So thank you, John, for that tip. So another day I visited COPTIC Cairo, which has some famous religious buildings, but the thing that really attracted me was the cemetery, which sounds weird, but as you can see, look at it, it's awesome. Every tomb is like a mini Greek temple. It's just amazing. So I guess this has something to do with the Greek Orthodox Church that I just showed in the footage just before this, but look at this cemetery, how mental is it? It was amazing, and also just really peaceful and lovely. So did a little sketch. I wasn't really happy with this one, to be honest. My main issue is the blue of the sky in the background was just too much, and I feel like the temple was a bit too yellow. I don't know. I wasn't really loving this. I like the brickwork and I like the steps. That's the part of the sketch I do like, but overall wasn't too happy with this one. So then another day I took a bus, well actually overnight, but this is in the morning as we were approaching DAHAB in Egypt, which is over on the coast, just a bit further down the coast from Sharm el-Sheikh, and right next to the gorgeous Red Sea. So it was really nice to be next to the ocean for a few days, and I met a lot of people. I was staying in a hostel and I got to chit chat to a bunch of people. It was nice. This was a lovely little cafe further along the coast called Jackie's, which I really enjoyed going for breakfast at. Every restaurant is just like right on the sea, so, and they've got steps right down into the sea, so you can kind of have a bit of food, like this beautiful sizzling food right in front of me, and later on you can get into your costume and just walk down the steps and be in the sea. It's beautiful. So I did a little sketch whilst I was in Jackie's from that scene that you saw before. It's my safe people sketching zone, is sketching people from the back. That's yeah, that's one way of getting people into your sketch nice and easily. So yeah, I was quite happy with this one. I thought it was quite bold. Quite liked it. So just a quick one, guys. I do have an online course available. It's only come out a few weeks ago. It's my travel sketching process in ink and watercolour. I take you through 3 different projects, which I'll show you in a minute, in ink and watercolour, and I take you step by step through each one in real time and show you my exact process, including any mistakes I make and how I deal with them. So as I said, 3 separate projects, each step by step. So this course is like several hours long. You have lifetime access, so you can do it whenever you want. That's no problem. There's no time limit. So in the first project, I take you through street furniture, and I've chosen a reference photo from my own travels driving Route 66 in the US. So we start with those road signs, then we move on to something slightly more complicated, which is the ornate door in Valletta in Malta, also from my travels. And finally, Project 3 is a building in San Miguel de Allende in Mexico, where I lived in 2019. So each project gets progressively more complex, and I take you through each one step by step. Also, those second 2 projects, Project 2 and 3, are featured in my book, Sketchy Adventures Around the World, and my ebook. Loads of you have been buying that. Thank you so much. I hope you're finding it interesting seeing over 130 of my ink and watercolour sketches from the last 3 years of my travels. So links are below in the description, guys. Please do check it out if you get a moment. That would be great. So after DAHAB, I travelled back to Cairo and I met up with my boss and my good friend Kate, and we went to SAQQARA, which is about an hour south of Cairo, to see the stepped pyramid. I believe there's a documentary on Netflix at the moment about SAQQARA, so I also need to go and watch that, but you can check it out if you want. And then this is just a bit of footage from inside, facing down into the tomb. I just thought I'd show you that quickly, really. And then we travelled onwards to a little bit further on to these pyramids. So there's the red pyramid, and then there's also a pyramid called the bent pyramid as well. So I didn't actually sketch these pyramids, but I just really wanted to show you them because they were really cool. And definitely the bent pyramid was the most interesting one. We went inside because it was super hectic. You really have to crouch down and climb downwards for a long time to get into it. And then there's loads of other tunnels and stuff, and you're just hunched over the whole time. And it's quite physically demanding. I mean, it's not like if you're super fit, then it's like not that bad, but it definitely hurts your back to climb through these tunnels. I banged my head on the top of one as well, so it wasn't particularly nice. And then these are all the bats inside, and it's just like deafening silence, you know, it's just so silent inside this pyramid. And we're the only people in there, I think, obviously because of COVID and whatnot. There weren't any tourists around, so we were just the only 3 people inside, which was kind of cool. It was kind of cool. So this was my sketch of the stepped pyramid. I managed to get my boss and my friend in there. But yeah, I didn't like this one for a while, and then I kind of kept adding to it, and yeah, kind of turned out nice in the end. I quite liked it, so I was pretty happy with that. And then after seeing those pyramids, we took a drive to Memphis and we saw the colossal statue of Ramesses II, which was really cool. There's not much else to see right here, but this statue was just so huge. Really was something to see, so I'm really happy that we decided to do that. So of course I had to sketch it. I'm really happy with how this sketch came out. I really wanted to capture the mundane surroundings of this huge statue, which was so cool, with like, as has been described to me, social worker green, institutional green on the walls, and things like fire extinguisher and the tiles and stuff. I just really wanted to capture those mundane surroundings around the statue because I thought it was funny. But yeah, super happy with how that one came out. And then yeah, just at the airport in Cairo. That's my plane. Back to the UK, back to London. And yeah, I had a little table right next to the window there. So I was like, right, this is like prime sketching location. So here's my pencil sketch. And then here's my ink sketch. And unfortunately the lorry had already moved when I did my ink sketch, but I had my pencil sketch there, so it was fine. And then they called us for boarding, so I didn't quite have time to get round to the watercolour element of the sketch. But here you will see I'm just doing it at home when I got home. And so been reunited with these paints, as I mentioned in my previous video, which are a real mixture of Winsor & Newton and Daniel Smith, and some Jackson's art in there as well. So I do need to go through them and kind of figure out what they all are and what colours they are and what they do and stuff. So that's activity for the near future. I'm really sorry if this footage is a bit wobbly. I've just got here and I just sort of attached my camera to my sketching board and just kind of didn't think too much of it, and off I went. And because I wasn't on a sturdy surface, it wobbles around a bit, so I do apologise for that, but hopefully it's not going to bug you too much. And you can see I've been in such warm climates for so long that I'm so cold here in UK, even though it's April and even though it's, well, it is a bit unseasonably cold, but yeah, my hands were freezing for some reason, so I found these gloves in a drawer, so I'm utilising them. So you can see I'm straight in with the Payne's Grey and this quinadricone rose kind of colour, and they're just blending lovely. I think I mentioned it in my last video, I'm just all about these two colours at the moment, especially for the ground. I just love how they work together. So that's a good tip for your ground. Don't just do it like whatever you see, like a beige or a grey or whatever, like chuck in some interesting colours, splash it in wet and wet, and it just looks lovely. I wasn't too sure how this sketch was going to go. I've felt, not all that inspired by the line work itself. So I was like, right, let's just slap some paint on it and see. Airport sketches, aeroplane sketches can be pretty bland colour-wise. So I was like quite keen to get a bit of colour in here. So I did move that orange tube on the right. It wasn't quite in my view, but I was like, I'm going to move it in because it's a nice bright colour and I really wanted to introduce it, especially there was a lot of blues in the picture. So adding the oranges and the yellows just really helped to balance out the amount of blue that I could see. And just adding the shadows of the white plane with just a very pale kind of bluey grey colour. And then just going around and just darkening in some areas just to give it a bit of contrast. So definitely in the foreground, always make sure that your colours are nice and strong in the foreground and much weaker in the background, and that will really help you portray that sense of depth in your sketch. It's something I've really been consciously trying to work on recently, or in the last few sketches. It's just making sure my colours are really nice and bold in the foreground. So I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this little blast through my trip to Egypt. I tried to do a fair few things. I avoided seeing the main pyramids at Giza just because that's something me and my fiance have said we always wanted to see together. So I didn't go over there and see those things, but I got up to a few other bits and bobs, which was nice and fun. So back in the UK now, and really looking forward to the next few videos I've got lined up for you guys. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.